Zitterag here, coming to another video review. And today, as you can see, I'll be taking a look at Deluxe Class Blast Off from the Prime Wars Trilogy sort of side setup thing. It's basically just a repaint of Unite Warriors Blast Off. Start things off, here's his size compared to a soda can. He's a brick. His colors are, well, Blast Off. A very chocolatey brown, sort of a lavender, black, purple, and a little bit of silver. View from above and below. And all these little greebly things down there. He doesn't have any wheels. I mean, he has, molded wheels, landing gear, but they don't actually roll. As far as what he can do in this mode, not a whole lot. I mean, you can take the front landing gear off. Just his gun, and so make it look more aerodynamic, I suppose. That's just generally supposed to stay attached in there. He's got his hand-foot gun. You can just plug that into this port on the top side. Looks stupid. And as a little side sort of accessory, he comes with the red crystal Megatronus Prime Master, which I already showed off in my Dinobot videos. Looks just like the regular one, just with some translucent red plastic. He does not in any way incorporate into this figure, not into the hand-foot gun, no posts, so here's mentioning him, and then we'll never talk about him again. That pretty much does it for his shuttle mode, so I guess we'll just go on to the other modes. First, leg mode, arm mode, and then robot mode. Getting to leg mode is fairly simple. Take the thrusters, just bring them up and back. Take the wings and fold them down. And get rid of the gun. Take the entire front section, bring it down. And then you want to take his head and fold it down into here. Take the combiner port, bring it all the way up. Get his head tucked away nicely in there. Bring this up, and it'll just sort of wrap around his head. Flip out the heel on the hand-foot gun. Plug it into there. And there you have Blast Off in leg mode. Now into arm mode. The process starts similarly, but it goes rather crazy very quickly. Again, just take off the landing gear / gun. Take the entire front section of the fuselage. It just tabs in right there. Just bring it back and out of the way. Bring the head down. Bring the combiner peg out. Detach the arms from the sides of the fuselage. Just sort of get them up and out of the way. Split the entire back section, including the tail, including this sort of tail fin. Bring it down, and it will come down on this double hinge and sort of lock into place there, albeit softly. And bring the thrusters up and around. Bring the tail fin sections and flip them around like that. Bring back the tail wing, or bring back the wings. Then just sandwich all this together. Fold the arms back down, but fold them up completely and they will actually lock together. Because when you fold it up enough, there is a notch and a tab there. Those will meet up. Bring the fuselage up like that. Rotate the elbow section, which actually locks in place. Flip out the thumb, flip out the main part of the fingers, bring this in, bring the thumb up, just plug that into here. There you have Blast Off in ARM mode. And lastly, we go into robot mode. Again, same thing as before. Take off the landing gear. Attach the front part of the fuselage and just bring all that down. The arms tab into the sides of the legs, so just bring them up and out of the way. Split the rear section, including that fin. Bring it all down and it will sit in there. Bring the wings back. Bring up the thrusters to be his feet. Bring his arms down and into place. Bring this back the rest of the way. Get these panels out of the way. And then take the nose cone, first angle it down. And then you just sort of accordion this up and back. And then just fold all that up. Turn the head around. There you have Blast Off in robot mode. Here's his size compared to a soda can. Pretty standard for a deluxe class figure. His colors are much the same. A very chocolatey brown, black, lilac, purple, as well as some spots of silver, red, and yellow. Oh, and a little bit of blue. View from above and below. His posability is actually pretty good. His head's on a ball joint, so it can go side to side, all the way around. Can look down that far. Can only look up about that far, but if you use the transformation joint, you can get him to look further, but depending on the angle you do it, it looks kind of weird. And for some reason, the joint on mine really likes to try and pop out. The arms can go out to the side about that far. They can go all the way around. Swivel just below the shoulder. You have a full bend at the elbow. Nothing at the wrist, sadly. The waist can swivel, but it actually locks into this position, so you have to sort of unlatch it before you can get it to go any other direction. Legs can go forward that far, back that far, out to the side fairly well. Swivel just below the hip. Bend a little less than 90 degrees at the knee. And you have a fairly decent ankle tilt. So the posability isn't amazing, but it's good enough. And of course he has the same accessories. Megatronus Prime that does nothing. He's got his landing gear, which now functions as his gun. And you can just plug that into his hand with the post and port. It is very small, very dinky, and I'm mildly annoyed he didn't come with two. But it is what it is. And of course you have his hand-foot gun, which you can just plug into his hand like that. Unfortunately, the elbows on mine are fairly loose. So once they go past a certain point, they don't hold really any friction. One thing I was curious about when I first started messing around with this guy was the fact that he has these two ports on his chest. But I later found out that on the Japanese version, this is actually the front. As a result, these are actually places to store the weapons on his back. But as a result of this being the front, it sticks out about a mile. But just by popping off the ball joints and the mushroom pegs, you can get him to face whichever direction you prefer. I just do it this way because all the modes work a little bit better. One amusing thing is He actually has 5mm ports in his thrusters, so you can actually, you know, plug something in there if you want. Which I'm sure works with the siege effect parts, or blushing, as they are commonly referred. But I wouldn't know because I don't have any of the Battle Masters or any of the Commander class figures or any of that. And I really don't intend to change that. But overall, it's a pretty neat figure. And I bought this because I don't like the fact that the regular Combiner Wars Blast Off is a jet, whereas this one is actually a space shuttle, so I bought this one. And I use this with Bruticus instead of the Jet Blast Off, who I do have. I instead use him with another combiner, the same combiner that I use off-road with, which you will see in, I think, about 4 or 5 months at this point. Yeah, that pretty much does it. That's been my review of Deluxe Class Blast Off from the Prime Wars Trilogy side toy line? Something like that. Bye-bye.